if you're paying attention to, there's like a nostalgic filter on this to make you realize that you're watching something in the past. Very subtle, but it's there. They've also kept her eyes darker for a reason. She might be a bad character. Little things like that inform the viewer without saying, oh, she's a bad person. Do you think like the little Dobbies ever get their eyebrows arched? Or if it would be painful because them things is thick. And we're off. First of all, the John Williams score in the background is the best. John Williams is the best composer of all time. I don't care what anybody says. This is so cool. Like, being immersed into the world of Harry Potter, which is one of my favorite movies ever, is pretty cool. I gotta play this game for sure. I would say, honestly, it's probably one of the hardest things to adapt a book into a movie because oftentimes the books are better, but it's really hard to encapsulate the details of 400 pages into 120 page script. You know, there's so many more details that go on in a book than in a movie, but where a movie takes a book and elevates it, I think, is just really encapsulating the images and the character and the face of the character. You know, we're actually able to see it and relive it with our eyes instead of our mind. I guess it's your eyes when you read too. So for the fact that they turned it into from a book to a movie to a game now, I would absolutely love to see what they did with this. That's pretty cool. Cinematically, I can say the graphics. Well, the graphics are great. The lighting is great. Definitely like can see and understand how they took the actual world that they created in the movie and brought it into the game. I mean, there's just certain details and magic and understanding. If you've ever been to London, the details and intricacies of their cars, of their streets, of their fashion back in the day, and they were able to basically bring this into a magical world and represent that. Now I went to London for the first time this year, and all I could think was, "Oh, Harry Potter!" Everywhere I went because it definitely pulled from a real place, which is pretty cool. Right now, they're trying to establish the story, establish what's going to happen in the entire game through the story, through this element. Wow, I didn't expect that to happen. I'm guessing that this trinket is literally how the game is going to end. It's called the gun rule, but we'll see. So I haven't played any of the other Harry Potter games, but I've always wanted to. I've always been more of like a 2K guy or a Madden guy or a first person shooter guy. I'm not gonna lie, like it feels kind of cool to be immersed in that world and play it. So definitely gotta check it out. So this one, I feel like it's kind of giving us a little bit of exposition. So this game might be for younger people, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I struggle in movies and games where they kind of like there and tell you exactly what you're about to do and try. Hey, it works. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about this game, so it's cool. And I love how they're immersing you in trying to teach you spells by showing you how to use the thumbstick on the controller. That's pretty cool. I kind of struggle with like how he just says silent as a grave. Like this is great for younger kids. It really tells you what you should be doing. The lights kind of lead you to where you should be going. It's very fun. Very fun.
Quick, behind the book.
So exactly, it's telling you where to go, what to do. We call that exposition in movie making. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen those Tubi movies where they're like, I'm a break up with my husband because I don't love him. But like it's like a voiceover, and it's like we already knew you were gonna do that. That's exposition.
Now, here's what we're going to do.
I love the lighting in this game though. The lighting is always great in this world. It feels very real. I love like the green globes on the desk. That's kind of like a cool little accent light. I think it's pretty cool.
The key.
I also love in Harry Potter how like none of the teachers have ever thought about the invisibility cloak, but like clearly they know like it exists, but they act like it doesn't. It's I don't know, just a cute little thing I love about Harry Potter.
In that book.
I'm really struggling with this one. Just the exposition is really getting to me again. They're really just telling you exactly what to do, what to think. But I love the magic in the world. I love how the lighting is very accurate. We see this flame in the top left that's like lighting this entire room, but there's also an accent of blue. and we never know where that blue's coming from, but you can guess it's like a moonlight or something like that. It's little things like that, and little tricks that they use to light the world that we don't think of when we're playing or when we're watching movies. Once again, it's choices. Storytelling is all about raising the stakes and people making choices. I think that's pretty cool that they're allowing you to pick your own adventure in this space.
Know just the spell to repair this up.
And they're reminding you that you know the spell to repair the armor. So there we go with the exposition again. I think it's great, but I'm just like, all right, come on, y'all. But it's for a younger audience, so they got to do it. This is interesting. So they're using this wand to light this entire space. That's pretty cool. Very difficult to do that in a, an actual film setting, but in a video game, it's very doable. In Harry Potter movies, I feel like they do a lot of practical effects as far as the lighting and things like that, but they're amplified with the particle noise that they do in post with graphics and things like that. I think it's pretty cool how they kind of mix both in the actual movie. Once again, the sound design is great in this. Oh, that little pose at the end was fire. This is pretty cool too. As you notice, whenever there's a hit, the camera shakes. And I love the fact that whenever there's a special move going down, like things slow down. There's something to pay attention to. Like these little details and things in the making of the game and in the making of movies are very important because without them, you'd miss them. Storytelling is very, very, very cool because you're able to basically understand the backstories of multiple characters, which informs the decisions that the protagonist, which is the main character, often make. I think that in any movie or any video game, the fact that they can pull back the layers and really go back to the past and really inform what's going to happen next is cool without saying, hey, this is going to happen next. Now you understand the character's mind, the character's embodiment, why he's the way he is, the traumas that he's been through, to make the decisions that he's making to keep moving forward. All we're doing is retelling what humans have been through, you know, in its simplest form. A little bit of magic. And I love if you're paying attention to, there's like a nostalgic filter on this to make you realize that you're watching something in the past. Very subtle, but it's there, and it definitely reminds you that, oh, this is not present time. This is the past. A little green, some people use like a sepia filter, but me personally, I'm not a fan of the sepia filter. I think that it should match the world, and I think they did a great job with this.
I'm afraid I must take.
It's lighting, but they've also kept her eyes darker for a reason. She might be a bad character. Little things like that kind of inform the game player or the viewer without saying, "Oh, she's a bad person." Just her eyes, her eye sockets are darker compared to our other characters. So like the ghost character in the back is pretty cool too because like I'm pretty sure it's a lot easier to create that character in a video game than in real life. But I say in real life, how we would do it is we'd have to like literally shoot the apparitions in like a green screen type studio and then bring them in to the actual scene, which can be very challenging. They also have people in blue suits now that you can actually put in these places for eyeline, and it'll make them disappear whenever you put on a little blue filter thing. So I haven't seen the new Fantastic Beasts trilogy yet. I'm like a classic kind of guy, so I wanted to stick to strictly the Harry Potter stories and like end it at that. But I've heard nothing but great things about the Fantastic Beasts series. But I'm pretty sure, like for me, it wouldn't have the same nostalgic factor going back to watch them. But for the next generation coming up, I'm pretty sure like they treat the Fantastic Beasts trilogy the way that I treat Harry Potter. The gameplay is pretty cool. This is what I was always talking about with like wide shots. It's very hard to like feel like you're in it when the shots are so wide compared to when you're closer or have that closer point of view to the character. But it also keeps it very innocent. Harry Potter is a very innocent, younger story. So compared to like a God of War that's rated MA for mature, where you're gonna see the blood and the gore and get closer. I think the movement is great in this too, and the lighting in this scene is very interesting. It seems to be coming from one source, which is the moon, but it's diffused. And shooting this scene in real life, it's very challenging to create a one source type light without having practical lights like lamps or fire around. So with this world, it's very easy to create and mimic it by just knowing it's nighttime. The moon can basically reflect everything. In a real life situation, we have to use the biggest lights, cranes, condors, things like that, and then have to shoot in one direction only to hide them, which takes 3 or 4 days to do night scenes sometimes. I love the glow on this character. There's something warm about it. If this glow was green or purple, I wouldn't trust it as much. There's something with color psychology in filmmaking too that means something. The warmer the color, the more inviting. The more weird neon greens and blues and purples, nah, we ain't rocking with it. Like, think about the Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz. Like, the greenest of greens. Think about those kind of things when you're watching movies.
Meddling other people's affairs.
Oh, this is fun though. This is a very fun world. Once again, this is being lit by entirely moonlight, which is very challenging to do in real life. But in this game situation, it feels very real. It feels very authentic. This is cool. I mean, think about ratings in video games. I mean, this dude just got blown up by a huge dynamite keg and had the most animated scream compared to an antagonistic tortured scream. These are things that we have to think about as filmmakers and as game developers to understand who our audience is. If it was like it'd be more visceral compared to you know.
Wait, I don't know the headmaster's house elf. Will he even?
Bro, if I had a polyjuice potion, I'd probably turn into like Steph Curry. I just love like the fact that he's like plays basketball like he plays video games. Like he just skips around and la da 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 jump shot. I'd for sure turn to Steph Curry. Wait, no, yeah, no, I'd turn to Steph Curry for sure if I had polyjuice potion. Him or nah, I'm gonna keep it at that. We're not gonna go political today. We gonna keep it real PG. Bro, I can smell that burp through the camera. Chill, bro. It's very simple. It seems like they're always using like a softer source, but it keeps it very innocent and light. It feels hard lighting everywhere. It would feel more intense. And every Christmas season, you have to watch Harry Potter. It's like a must. It's like as soon as Thanksgiving is over, because you have like 5 more days until like December, like when it's like real Christmas, you gotta watch all the Harry Potters before you watch the Home Alone. Like that's like the rule. If you watch Home Alone before Harry Potter, you're not cool, bro. You're not cool. Have somebody in the like on the comments doing the Home Alone face at that comment. Just
I find.
Are you feeling all right?
this dude is dressed very well. That says a lot about his character. Everything informs the story, from the colors to the designs of the buttons to the way the character walks. It informs the story. Everything is so intentional in filmmaking and game making. Intentional. So I think the makers of the game kind of kept the world intact as far as the game and the book. Harry Potter is a very playful story that can be dark sometimes, has a darker mood, but can be very playful and innocent. And I think that they did a great job of creating that and curating that space. I mean, just from emotion of deciding to do all the gameplay wide instead of close and more violent, that is a huge way of saying I want to respect the world and keep it with that same playful energy that we got from the movies. You know, when it gets dark, it gets dark. You know, if it was bright, Harry Potter movies are never really bright, and I think they did a great job with matching the lighting and the tone of that as well as the voices and the details in the wardrobe and the detail in Hogwarts. It's very accurate to what we know in the movies. You know, I always thought Harry Potter had like a little swag walk to him when I read the books compared to like the nerd we know. But hey, that's the beauty of reading, kids. Read a book. Create your own world here too.
That ought to give Professor Fig some breathing room.
Christmas!
Like, I would love to have some floating candles in my house one day. Like, I need to like chat GPT how to make floating candles. That's $1 million business idea, bro. Whoever cracks the code on floating candles, bro, can take all my money. That is fire. Just imagine walking into your house and there's like candles floating. That's fire.
Scrubs swear never to tell anyone, even Mum.
These dudes always creep me out. This is like the PG version of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Very similar. So that's a perfect example, like a rated R movie to a PG-13. It's Gollum versus Dobby. My precious, or my precious. You think like the little Dobbies ever get their eyebrows arched? I always wondered that. Or if it would be painful because them things is thick. Man, so Hogwarts Legacy as a cinematic experience, I have to say that I really appreciated the fact that they were very accurate to the world we know as Harry Potter. It's very playful, it's very innocent in a lot of ways, but the mood is a little darker. I think that's very important and very special. If they would have like kind of switched it up and made it brighter, it would have not felt like Harry Potter, you know? Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Experts React. That was Hogwarts Legacy. And if you want to check out more Experts React, be sure to follow on YouTube or Facebook. If you want to know more about cinema or photography or storytelling, hit your boy up on Instagram at William E. Rouse. Deuces.